Welcome to a new edition, new season of In the Kitchen with Moni, Garden and Home, Grow Your Own, where I teach you indoor gardening and how to use those indoor things that you've grown and put that thing in your recipe and anything that you're cooking for lunch, dinner, breakfast, or even a snack, okay? So we teach you the ropes. Well, I teach you the ropes of indoor gardening. And this is also our first time live because we're actually celebrating a year of In the Kitchen with Moni. And we've also made history too. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But right now, we're going to talk all about scallions. We all have produce in our refrigerator that, and let's be real, we bought this produce with good intentions, and then we open the refrigerator, look in there and see all those fresh veggies and fresh local meat, and then we'll close that refrigerator door and order takeout. We've all done it, okay? So when you have produce that is past its prime and you know you're not going to eat it right away, don't throw it away, because we're going to take these and plant these green onion / scallion roots so we can keep a pot growing, okay? So all is not lost, and we're just going to use the rest of the green scallions, maybe like to ferment it or put it in a salad or something like that. So let's get started. First, these are green onions and scallions. Get organic preferably, or whatever you can do. These little white things here are the roots. Now these scallions, they do look a little busted, but I told you because they've been in the refrigerator for a minute. I did rinse them off and all that cool stuff, okay? So now we're going to take knife, it's my favorite knife, and just going to cut about 1.5 inches above the root, just like that, okay? Like that, okay? Just 1.5 inches. So this is what it looks like here, okay? This is what we're going to plant. There's some more. And I'm going to put these all in a 4-inch pot, okay? And if they grow too big for this pot, no big deal. I'll just put it in a bigger pot. Okay, so I'm just going to put this plate of scallions to the side here. To the side. Be alive. Now we're going to get our soil ready, right? So our soil, we don't want to saturate it with water. We just want to make sure it's just moist enough. Because remember, once we plant this into the pot, and after a few days, if we need to water again, we're going to bottom water. Because remember, bottom watering helps prevent the soil from getting too wet, and you don't want your soil to be too wet, because then it gets like fungus, and then you're going to get fungus gnats, and it just turns into a real situation. Okay, so I have a glass of water here. I'm just going to pour a little bit into this soil. Try to get organic soil if you can, whatever's available. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in there, just a little tad. You probably can't see it, but when I go to mush this all together, this is going to take a little bit of time. I just want this moist, we want the soil moist, not drenched, okay? And yeah, so we're just going to do like that. Now it's getting it's getting there. You might see it's getting a little moist, which is that's what we want. Just do this. This thing on this blouse just keeps running away from me. Run. Da. Sing while you're doing your indoor. So let me just show you how much I'm putting in here. Just a little bit. Now you can put your gloves on while you're doing the soil, but I'm not afraid of this soil. This is organic soil that's been indoors. It's, I'm not taking this soil from outside and bringing it in. And that's another thing. If you're doing if you're doing outdoor gardening and you want to do some indoor gardening, I would not recommend taking your soil from outside and bringing it in, because remember, the soil that you bring from outside indoors, you're also bringing those bugs and eggs and stuff from outdoors into your home. You don't want that. So if you're indoor gardening, I would say start with a fresh batch of soil, okay? So I'm just mushing here, and I think this looks moist enough. It's not drenched, it's just moist enough just to get it popping. Okay, all right, so I'm getting messy here, but this is live, and I wanted to show you what it's like, and it's not going to be perfect, and it's totally okay. So I told you you're gonna see some bloopers and see what the heck, what is she doing? You know, but anyway, so I took a pot, right? And if you're new to indoor gardening or gardening in general, all pots for plants or flowers or growing food should have holes at the bottom. These are drainage holes, because if your pots don't have drainage holes, once again, you're gonna have soil that's too wet, and you're gonna get fungus and everything else going on, okay? So these are drainage holes. So you need pots that have holes at the bottom, okay? So now I have my soil. It's a little bit moist, and this is the way we want it. So now I'm just gonna put this in here, and I have like a 4-inch pot. I think this is probably like 3-inch pot. And I think this is a good enough pot to get it started, you know, for your scallions or your green onions, you know, okay? So I'm just putting this in the pot, and I hope I have enough soil, because I don't feel like going in the bag and getting more soil. Now notice, you might notice, as I'm putting this in, I put a little hole in there like that, you know, and that's because I'm going to put the scallions in there, okay? So, but I'm just gonna put some more in here. Put some more in it. Put some more in it. Put some more in it. My God. I don't know if I could do indoor gardening without singing. It just goes hand in hand. I'm loving my hair today. I look like a member of the Commodores. Google Lionel Richie and the Commodores. They had the hairdos of hairdos. Cool froze. Cool curly froze. I think theirs was a Jerry curl though, but mine is naturally curly, okay? Alrighty, so this is what I have so far, because I didn't put enough soil in my bowl, but that's okay. But if you look at it, you can see I just made a little hollow thing there, and that's just so I can actually get all these green onion roots in. So let's put these green onion roots in. So remember, we just cut 1.5 inches above the roots of the scallion, right? And so now that we got our soil in there, we're just gonna do like this, right? And I'm gonna put this to the side. Just do like this. Let me put this to the, bam. Okay, so that little hollow space in there that we just did, I'm just gonna put the scallions there like that, and just dig them in deep. And it's gonna push it down a little bit. I know this should have a little bit more soil, but what are you gonna do? Okay, see now it's standing up. So now I'm gonna take some more soil. More soil. I'm just basically planting these in firm so they stay in. And it's okay if you get a little bit of soil on this scallion, because it is soil, and once you cut these, you're going to be rinsing these off and cleaning them anyway. And remember, this is going to be growing. This is short now, but this is going to grow. And this is actually your homework assignment, because I know some of you are probably cooking scallions with your dinner tonight, and you're going to throw these roots away. So this is what I want you to do. Don't throw those roots away. Get yourself a little pot and cut 1.5 inches above the roots. Don't throw those roots away, and just plant it just like this. And we'll see, we'll check back again Saturday maybe, and you know, see how much it's grown, okay? And if you're new to the show, if you're wondering how we're going to get sunlight with the indoor gardening, if you live in a space that doesn't really have a lot of natural sunlight, that's why we have these indoor garden bulbs, okay? Just so you know what we're doing here. And they have some garden bulbs. I call them garden bulbs, garden lamps, that are bigger than that, so you can kind of adjust to what you need and, you know, what the plant calls for. Okay, I tend to get the bulbs that are good for all types of fruits and vegetables. They're strong enough and powerful to handle it. Okay, so here we go, folks. Our first In the Kitchen with Moni, garden your home, grow your own. This looks a little messy, but this is okay. I'm showing you my fingers because I want people to get over the whole thing. Oh my God, I'm putting my hands in the dirt. Oh Lord, what am I going to do? You'll be all right. This is soil. This is good soil. That hasn't been outside. You know, you're not going to catch any germs or anything like that. And so now it's official. We have planted our green onions. And within a couple days, they grow pretty fast actually. So in a couple days, these should be growing. Okay? And this is also what I'm going to do. So since we have that, nice and firm. And once again, if these get too big and all that stuff, I'm just going to put it in a different pot. And also, once these grow and they start hitting the light bulb, the garden lamp, I'm just going to put this pot on a chair where the garden lamp is hoisted higher. And so these can continue to grow without touching the bulb. Whatever you're growing, whether it's plants or food, you don't want the actual food to touch the bulb because it'll burn. This has the effect of sunlight in the sun, so plants get burned too. So you're going to have to adjust to make sure, you know, they're getting just the right amount of sunlight, not too little, not too much. Too little, they're not going to grow. Too much is going to be a little bit, might burn them. So this is, but you can adjust, and this kind of does all this crazy stuff here. Okay, so here we go. And now this is also important. Since this is this soil is not overly drenched, but I also want to make sure it has enough water to you know, keep the soil moist from the bottom. You know, because remember, if you watch the show, one thing we don't do is we don't top water, because top water causes the soil to be too wet. You're going to get fungus gnats and stuff. You don't want all that in your house. Trust me on this one. Okay? All right, so now, in the sake and in the spirit of bottom watering, this bowl here that I have with the soil here, I'm being a little bit lazy now. That's okay. I'm more so concerned about these growing. So I'm not going to clean this bowl here because I'm just, oh, hold on. Because then I would have to get off camera. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like grabbing anything. So bottom watering, this is what I'm going to do. This is enough bottom watering here. I think that's more than enough. And I'm just going to place this in here. Right? Now, when you're bottom watering and putting your pot in a bowl, you don't want to put a lot of water in there, okay? Just enough. See, let me show you what you got going on here. Just a little bit. Because what's going to happen when we put the bowl in here after a couple days, this water, the soil is going to absorb all this water, so this bowl is going to be dry, right? And after it's dry, I usually don't put water in it right away because I'll test the soil first. If the soil absorbs all the water and it's still moist in here, I'm not going to refill this with water, okay? Right away, anyway. So let's say if this is, the soil absorbs this water, I might wait a day or two to put a little bit more water in there for the soil to absorb it, excuse me. So that's what we do. And so if you're grossed out by the soil, I'm going to leave it like this intentionally because some folks get bugged out. Do you know when you go to the supermarket that sometimes there's soil all over your food? You just, wash it real good. And if you don't have all the fancy vegetable cleaners and stuff, vinegar and some water does it good. Vinegar kills a lot of stuff. Okay, so now we have our scallions planted, and we put our pot inside of a bowl that has a little bit of water, so if the soil gets dry, it'll just absorb that water from the bowl, right? And it looks like it's absorbing it already because it's getting a little low. And this is going to get a little messy. This is okay. And I messed up because I forgot to plant this one. Oh, well. Okay. And so what we're going to do, and as you can see, it gets messy. You get soil over there. It's okay. It's totally okay. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like this. Put this under here. And go figure, hold on. Who said indoor gardening is easy? Sometimes doing all this stuff. This is live and this is what we do. If you're wondering what this is a jar of pickles. I'm going to show you guys how to make pickles, by the way. It's really simple. Got cucumbers, I got you covered. Okay, I'm just going to sneak over here. And then, ta-da! Here we go. And so that's going to grow. Usually what I do, for the things that I'm growing, I will leave them, let me get this stuff out your way. I will leave this garden lamp on during the day. And then at night, turn it off. So I just kind of, and you can do some research on how much light things need, but I kind of find doing indoor gardening, you kind of have to get to know what you're growing and what's in this pot in front of you or any pot that's in your home. And you have to get to know the light, the garden light yourself, because you can look online and it might say full sunlight, right? And then you leave this on 24/7 and then it gets a little dry. So you just kind of have to use your own judgment by what you see. And see, I like this because the soil is moist, but it's not too moist, right? It's a little bit dry, but no worries, because this bowl with the water in it, the soil in this pot is absorbing it, so it's going to stay moist. Okay, all right, so that's it. We're done. You have planted your own green onions, and that's the soil on it, because I didn't want to be obsessed with making this pretty, but it'll be okay. Trust me, it'll be okay. All right, because when it starts growing, the new growth of the scallion, it's not going to have all that soil on it, because the scallion is just going to start sprouting up. And once it starts sprouting up and it starts touching this bulb, which anything that you're growing, plants or food, it should not be touching the garden lamp. So I'm just going to put this on my chair where I'm able to position my garden lamp higher, where I can just turn the light on it, and this can grow even bigger, much bigger, without touching the lamp. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you for tuning in to this first live edition of In the Kitchen with Moni, Garden at Home, Grow Your Own. It's a pleasure, and I just want to say thank you to Catherine Hicks from the Philadelphia Sunday Sun, who was the first outlet to air this indoor gardening show. Yes, the Sun is the first one to air it, and I just appreciate the support. And also I want to give a shout out to some members of the Haitian community, because I was informed that they have been watching these shows. And shout out to Miss Maritoni, who said that her friend watches this and learned how to plant tomatoes and all that fun stuff just from watching me condition the soil. Condition the soil is just exactly what I did there, okay? Alrighty, so I want to give a shout out to everyone who watches and who actually takes the time to grow, okay? Because it's gonna, after a while, this is gonna be like pleasurable for you. You just do it second nature, just like you throw your chicken on the stove. Oh, you got some scraps, you're not gonna throw them out. Well, let me just put this in some soil and put it under the lamp. It's really that easy, okay? So until next time, folks, thank you for watching In the Kitchen with Moni Season 2. I am so happy to share my knowledge with you, and I'm so happy and blessed that you watch. All right, and yeah, I'm gonna drink this water. It didn't touch anything. Look, okay, there's no soil in this water. I drink my own supply. Until next time, In the Kitchen with Moni, follow at In the Kitchen with Moni on Instagram. And questions for Moni@gmail.com. That's questions, the number 4, MONI@gmail.com. Until next time, see you later. Walk good and eat well.